I'm headed back to Zany's in Nashville, Friday, March 28th and Saturday, March 29th, Madison, Wisconsin. I'm excited to announce I'm shooting my next special at your club, Comedy on State. I was there not too long ago, had such a great time, such a great club that I'm excited to work with them and bring you my next special. 2 shows, Saturday, April 12th. Get your tickets now at ryansickler.com.
The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I am Ryan Sickler, thanking you for watching this show and supporting this show for all these years. And you know what? Whatever you do that supports anything I do, thank you very much. I don't care what it is. Thank you. All right. This is one of my favorite things to do in life right here. And if you got to have more, then you got to have the Patreon. It's called the HoneyDew with y'all. I tell you about it every week. It is this show with y'all. And it is the wildest show on Patreon. It's $5 a month. If you or anyone you know has a story that has to be heard, submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. If you sent it before, send it again. Bump it to the top. We get a lot of them. We'd love to do an episode with you. We also have a additional $3 tier. It's $8. All right. And on that tier, you get the Wayback a day early, ad-free, nothing censored, and bonus content on that tier, not just extra stuff a day early. All right. You get bonus content there that you're not getting anywhere else. All right. That's the biz. You guys know what we do here. We highlight the lowlights. I always say these are the stories behind the storytellers. And I'm very excited to have this guest back on the HoneyDew. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Florentine. Welcome back to the HoneyDew, buddy.
It's always good to see you, man.
You too, dude. You have good energy. You look good.
Thank you.
How old are you now?
60.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. You're 60, dude.
It's a rough age, man.
Oh, well, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's just, I got to get that. I got to get past that. 40 was rough. You're like, man, 40?
Yeah, because 40... Hold on. Let's pause this for a second. Promote everything you want to promote.
JimFlorentine.com. I got a podcast called Everybody Is Awful. Comes out every Monday. I got a book called Everybody Is Awful. It's out there. And yeah, that's it.
Your special?
My comedy special, You Can't Please Them All. It's on Amazon Prime. I got 3 or 4 specials up there. You can catch up there.
And just dates. Where can they go to see dates?
JimFlorentine.com for my tour dates. And yeah, that's it. I'm out there. You can find me.
I think going back to what you were saying, like, when you were a kid, 40 sounded like 200. You know what I mean? And then you get to be 40 and you're like, I'm 50, about to be 52 in March. And I still feel like, I don't know, my 20s. You know what I mean? My knees and my back don't fucking agree.
Yeah.
But my mind is still like, nah, we're still right there where we were. Like, no, we ain't. Bro.
Seinfeld made a good point. He said that comedians are like 25. If you're 42, minus at 25 years, and that's basically what you are.
That's interesting.
Pretty much. Like when I was 45, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm what is it? I can't even do the
17?
math. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I'm really 60. I'm
45 minus 25.
35.
No, you're 20. Yeah.
I'm at 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel it or anything like that, but it's just 50 was rough too. You're like, man, but when you get 60, because this is a weird one, because I think by the time you hit 70, it's over. So it's like, all right, I got maybe a few years left. This is it. But 60 is like, damn, I'm close.
Yeah. 50 for me was just rough because I'm just getting out of the hospital and I'm still just all banged up. And that's how I turned 50.
Wow.
So then I became like, after that, I was like, you know what? 50 wasn't shit anymore. I'm just glad you know what I mean? Give me 51.
Yeah.
Give me the one no one gives a fuck about. I'll take 51. You know what I mean? 53.
Yeah,
give me that one. No
the
one
50s
cares.
is fine. Like once you hit 50, the whole 50s, that decade is easy until you're creeping up on 60. And then you're like, God damn.
So you're 60. And how old is you have a son?
My son's 14.
14. Okay. So you had him older.
Yeah.
Like myself. All right, so let's talk about that because you were single. How old were you when you had your son?
I was 46.
46, okay.
And it's weird because I never wanted a kid. For some reason, I come from a big family, 7 kids. Most of my brothers and sisters were all married, good kids and all that stuff. And for me as a comic, I always thought it would get in the way. I was just so focused on my career. I go, I can't have a kid and live in the suburbs. Then my career is going to be over. I need to be out there every night doing this. I gotta compete with everybody else, stay up with everybody else, how many sets they're doing. And I really considered, my late 30s of getting a vasectomy. I go, I just don't even want the idea of having a kid. And thank God I didn't do that. And then it came around like I hit 40, 42, 43, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm still good. And then it's weird because I went to Walter Reed Hospital to visit the guys there.
The veterans?
The veterans. I got a pass to go do it. And every guy that I went and, first of all, half of them, they had no idea who I was, which is hilarious. Like, who's this guy? Crank Anchors? I think so. What was that? I think I remember that. Howard Stern? I never really listened. Okay, yeah, send them in, which is weird, but whatever. But all of them just said, hey, man, the living, 2 limbs missing. It's all about my family. It's my kid. He's got a picture of his wife and his kids there. He goes,
"Is that right? That's the through line you're getting from every one of these guys.
Every one of them
saying,
hey, man, I don't care that I got no legs. I got my beautiful kids right here and my wife. Wow. That's all that matters." And that's when it hit me. It took me to go there to hit me. And I was like, man, that's what I need that.
It took Legless veterans for you to be like, hey, I think I want to be a dad.
Yeah. I'm like, man. I'm like, these guys, they're not miserable. Like, I'd be miserable. I'm like, what am I going to do?
You're like, I'm going to be out in the suburbs. They're like, I wish I had my legs. You're like, all right, I'm seeing things differently.
All I'd be thinking is like, how am I going to get to the stage with no legs? You know what I mean?
You all ADA compliant here?
Yeah, I know. It's like, some of these gigs I do are shitty. They're not going to make an exception for me. I'm like, what am I going to do? That's what I'd be thinking.
That's interesting. Yeah. So that really was like a shift for you where you were like,
That's really what it was. Yeah.
So then do you actively start to go find someone to have a child with, or were you already with someone where you were like, hey, you know what? You may have been wanting to have one and I wasn't, but now I do. Like, what was the situation?
I was with somebody that didn't want to have kids, was older, and I was
so you both were on it originally the don't want to have kids page.
Yeah, and then I realized I need to get out of this relationship and find somebody because I'm running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's interesting. You're the man running out of time because it's usually the lady, talking about, hey, I'm getting older, and
and then I found somebody, and it happened quick, and we had a baby. He was born on my birthday.
Nah, you share
a month early on my birthday.
You share a birthday with your son?
Yep.
That's crazy.
A month early, too.
And he's premature, too.
Yep.
No way.
Amazing.
Is that, I guess for us as dads, that's pretty awesome. How's he feel about it?
He loves it.
Okay, he does.
It has nothing to do with me. I'm good. I'm like, because I don't even like the birthday. I'm like, I never celebrate it. So I'm like, good, it's your birthday, not mine.
That's cool.
Yeah, don't worry about me.
Now you got a reason to celebrate, though, too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
on that day.
Yeah, on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is kind of, and then meanwhile, come to it. He's 14 now. He likes the same sports teams as me, same music, same movies, same TV shows. He's like having a best friend. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everything, so it's having a little buddy there constantly.
So were you married when you had a kid, or were
no? We weren't married yet.
Okay.
So she got pregnant. I say, well, let's get married a couple years later. Look, you don't want to get married while you're pregnant. We'll have the baby and we'll do it. So he was about 2.5 years old when we got married.
Okay,
somewhere around there. So we'll do the wedding later. It's no big deal.
And then how long were you together before you split?
A total between about 5 years.
Okay,
2.5 years into marriage, it ended.
And what happened?
It was infidelity.
Who?
Who do you think?
I gotta ask.
No, I know. No, it actually wasn't me. It was the other side.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just knew when I got married and, committed to having the baby, I said, that part of my life is over. On the road, when I was younger, yeah, of course you're wild, and I didn't really go to college. It was in a dorm or anything, a frat or anything. So I never had that so I was pretty wild on the road. And I was like, that part of my life is completely over and I'm good with it. And I said, look, I'm not going to do that to the kid.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought, and it was always this weird thing, like, I'm sure when your daughter was younger, we'd be sleeping in the bedroom and he'd wake up early and he'd run down the hallway into our bedroom and jump into bed with us. I remember hearing those little feet. And I was like, I love hearing that, even though I didn't want to get up. I hear those feet running in the room and he jumps in the bed with us. I was like, I don't want to ever miss that. I want that every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that 2 days a week, a Sunday and every other Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So that kept me from even thinking about doing anything on the road. I just wouldn't put myself in those situations anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said, I had a pretty good career, maybe not a Hall of Famer, but you know what I mean?
You're damn good. Yeah.
Yeah, I might get a few votes after 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Five,
He's not, but he's, I'll take that.
Yeah. I'll take some all-pro seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all I need. Yeah.
So, and then ultimately, but then when that happened, I was like, I have to get out of this marriage.
Did you try to make it work after that, or right away you were like,
no, right away I knew, because I have to have trust in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't worry about that later on
Mm-hmm.
if something like that's going on. There's enough pressure on us as comics, late show on a Friday someplace, you got to kill, and I can't worry about what someone's doing at home. I can't have that on my mind. I have a clear mind going up. So, you're on the road. I
say it all the time. Like, this is work. I'm working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm working. I wouldn't drop a bomb like this on you at your job. This happens to be my fucking job.
Yeah.
And yes, it's going to be fun. If I do a good job tonight, it's going to be fun. But it doesn't mean I'm not fucking working.
I know. Well, yeah, I know. No one ever considers it work.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever could. It's like when you put somebody on the guest list, friends and family. You're backstage, you're going to work, you're focusing, you're looking at your set, and then you're getting text. I just pulled up in the parking lot. What should I do?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Get the fuck out of the car.
Yeah. What should I do? Where do I go?
Yeah.
Do I need an ID? Just be a human fucking being like you're going anywhere else.
I'm like,
by the way, all you can drink is a suggestion.
What would you do if you didn't know me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to see Metallica, would you try to text James Hetfield? Hey, man,
hey,
I just got to the parking lot. I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah.
Would you just drive home?
Right.
So people don't consider it work.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So I just said, I got to move on. But
was it an amicable split? Did, on good terms at least?
No.
It was ugly.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
So how did you work it out? Like,
we just, we went to a mediator, then we got a couple lawyers. It was pretty quick.
mm-hmm.
But it was just, and then we had to figure out the time, how many days I'm going to see him. And then I realized at that point, I said, listen, I got to be around for this kid. I can't just be an absent dad and just go on the road and do whatever. I said, I need to make sure this kid is raised right. If we're going to go through a divorce, it's tough on a kid. I mean, my parents were married the whole time, but I just knew it would. So I had to cut back my schedule,
mm-hmm.
because I had to make sure. I said, this is more important. It probably affected my career in some, at some point, maybe not being out there as much, but I just knew this was more important. This kid,
100%.
Later on in life needs to be raised right. Not
mm-hmm.
that he wasn't going to be raised right by his mom, but just that both parents were fully engaged with him. So I had to cut back, and I was like, this is what I got to do. This is more important as a human being than going to do comedy gigs.
So do you mind me asking, like, what is your split? How do you
like 50-50?
Mm-hmm.
So it's perfect. I got him early in the week. My ex-wife's got him later in the week, and then I go work later in the week.
I see.
So it works out perfect. We're good with it. We switch days here
mm-hmm.
and all that, so we're on the same page
That's
with
how
that
we
stuff.
Do it too, yeah.
Yeah, so it works out good. 50% of the time, and so it's a good schedule.
Let me talk to you about that, because I know for myself as a single dad, I mean, it happened when my daughter was 1, so I always say I'm a new dad still and a new single dad. Like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And I've got this little tiny girl that's 1 that I'm responsible for now. And then I start, just future tripping about like, well, you only get 18 years. And of that 18, they probably don't remember the first 2 to 3 maybe. So now you got 15 years. And of those later years, they're wanting to go do their own shit. So what do you got, about maybe 10 good years? And now that just got cut in half to 5. I'd start freaking out about that.
Right.
And just wanting to be there and not wanting to miss any of it, So how did you deal with just... No, you just said, I heard those feet coming down. I didn't want to miss that. Now you're missing half of that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with that at first?
It was rough, but
how old was he? I'm sorry.
He was 5.
5, okay.
4.5, 5 years old. So he was a lot easier to manage at that age. If he was 1, I'd be out of my mind. I'm like, what do I do? So he was a lot more manageable at that time. He was just going to the kindergarten at the time. So, no, I got a lot of family. My mom was still around at the time, all in the area, so they helped out. And I think it's easier for a boy. For me, for a boy, it would have been, if I had a 1-year-old daughter, I would have been like,
bro, I'm the dad taking her in the men's room and just be like, sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I need to stall, guys. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. But I figured it out. I said, this is what I got. I got to figure this stuff out. I got to be able now making him lunches. I'm, fixing his breakfast.
Let's talk about that. How long before you like hit that stride where you're like, all right, I got this routine and we got this now?
It took a while, probably 6 months or so. But then I realized, this is the routine I got to do. I got, got to make sure he's got his, pack his lunch in the morning, get him on the school bus, help him with his homework afterwards, after school, all of that stuff. So get him in bed at the right times. He gets enough sleep. Get him up in the morning, So all of a sudden I'm getting up at like 6:15 in the morning because when I was married, my wife would get up and, take care of him. And I'd get up at like 9 as a comic, and then all of a sudden I'm up at
6:15 as a comic.
6:15.
Bro.
It's brutal. I said it's real. It's
I don't even like to do that to catch a flight for work.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's really it's still now he's going to go into high school next year. They start later, so we'll be up at like 7:30, but 6:50. It's killing my soul. 6:15.
Anything with a 6 on it
know.
is no. We're 7:15. I couldn't do. And
I
she
have
said,
no
I think
choice
middle school starts earlier, and I was like, it better not. I'm already getting mad about it. I'm like, it better fucking not.
I know because it's 6, 7, and 8th was middle school, and he's in 8th right now. So I got like till June. And then I get another, it's almost like the time change. I get an extra hour next year. And I could deal with that at 7:15. So.
And are you do you live in close proximity?
Yeah, we're 30 minutes away.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So even if on your day, it isn't your day, you could go see him or whatever?
Not really. We kind of that's separate. When it's her time, it's her time. When it's mine, it's mine. If we have to, we'll do that. But pretty much we don't do it like that.
And if necessary, you're both good with switching and being cordial with one another.
Yeah.
Are you able to be in the same, do you go to sporting events together? Are you able to be there together without being ugly and all that stuff?
Yeah. And in the beginning, it was a little awkward. There was some tension.
You're laughing. Why? What happened?
No, because, it's like, you're like, oh my God.
But you never didn't show up just because mom was there.
I would show up even more that she was there just to get under her skin at the beginning. But no, she would always show up and I would show up and we'd be cordial. Maybe sometimes we wouldn't talk. We wouldn't sit together usually, because it was just, a little too tense and stuff. And then it was fine. Now we'll sit together if we have to, at some points. So it's all good, It took a while to come around though. This is 10 years now I'm divorced.
I had one of my daughter's coaches tell me, she said, I see you come to everything and I see her mom at everything too. And she goes, I can just tell you as a kid that didn't get that. She's like, my parents hated each other so much that my dad wouldn't come to something or my mom wouldn't come to something. And I resented it. I'm telling you, as a child that grew up like that, the fact that you two can just even be here. And even if she's way over there and you're over here and you're not talking, which is basically what happens. I just mind my biz, she minds hers, but we're there supporting. She's like, it's huge and it's everything. And I was like, that's good to hear. That's good to know.
Yeah, no, I think I know he needs
not making it about you guys.
Absolutely, and she's good with that, and I'm good with that. We never not show up just because now we're actually at a point where when he graduated from elementary school, we threw a party for him together. The birthday parties, we throw for him together and all that stuff. We work together on that. So it's come a long way.
Yeah.
But it took a little while, but we always did, set that hatred aside for his sporting events and show up.
That's we've always done that as well. Yeah, I'm gonna be there no matter what, and mind my biz, and I'll shut my mouth. Yeah,
right. And there was never a scene. It was never a scene where we're yelling at each other or at any of that stuff. So.
And then I go and I sit there and I do see other couples doing that, and I'm like, look at us over here not doing that.
Yeah.
Look at us over here not doing that.
But it's weird. Like where I live, like nobody's divorced.
Is that
nobody?
Right?
Yeah, all the marriages together. Like I'm pretty much the only one.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I would think in a world where everyone's divorced.
No, they're all
Your neighborhood's all good to go, huh?
They're all Brooklyn and Staten Island people moved in there. They married the high school sweethearts,
And they just stayed together.
and they just stayed together. And they're all. I'm like, man, nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, so I'm like pretty much the only one.
What at the time when you first split and you were a single dad, what was the hardest thing for you at first?
Well, not seeing him.
Yeah.
On Thursday morning or whatever, he's with his mom till, Sunday or Monday when I get him back. Just missing him.
Yeah, and getting used to
and
that.
even today, it still sucks, that I don't. But I had to make that decision at that point where, I had to go, okay, I can't be in a relationship like this. So I have to do this, even though it's going to affect how much I'm going to see him. And I always worry about the 18 years too, like you were talking about before. He's 14. I got 4 years left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to spend every moment with him. We have the routine every night after I cook dinner. We watch a movie or a TV series together, or sports on the weekends and stuff like that, because I know it's coming.
I know. I think about it too. Like selfishly, I'm like, stay close, go to college close by or whatever close by. And then I think, what are you talking about, dude? You left Maryland and went all the way to California. You can't tell her she can't do that if she wants to.
Yeah, I know.
And then you're like, fuck, you could move to Germany. You know what I mean? You don't ever think about that. Like, oh my God, you married somebody and moved to Germany? What? Then I never see you or my grandkids or anything. Like, what?
Yeah, I worry about that too. I'm like, man, if he goes to Phoenix, I go, I'll fly out there to have lunch with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's, I'm worried about that. And then also what I got to worry about in a couple of years is him driving. And then all the other kids and getting in a car with a kid.
I know. I say to my stepson, I went out and drove with him for a while. And I was like, look, you say I'm an old man all you want to, but I'm telling you, this texting bullshit didn't exist.
Right.
I go, look around. Look, pull up at the light. I see people, nothing drives me crazier more than watching. It's always a lady too, holding her phone, talking like this in a 2024 car that has CarPlay where you can go hands-free and talk in the fucking car. And you're on speaker driving and looking at it and stuff. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It automatically connects for you.
Yeah. No, I know.
So there's so much more out there now than there ever was. That's another reason, like, today, a motorcycle, forget it.
No way.
Forget it today.
Yeah.
Forget it.
But then also, they got Uber, which is good, that we didn't have. I mean,
That's true.
I probably was in 1,000 cars where the guy was drunk.
Yep.
And it might have been 200 I was driving. I have a friend, and we figured out how many times he's drove drunk. He's 60.
How?
We went through.
How'd you do the math on that?
Because when he started driving at 17, so from like 17 to 27, how many times? And then when he got married at 27, so 27 to 47, while he was married, not as much. And then the last 10 years, so he's been driving 43 years, 3,216 times.
No.
I just had to change it to 3,217 because 2 weeks ago he left my house after football. So crossed out the 6 and put a 7. So his wife found out about it. So now she got him
3,217.
Yeah, 17. And his wife just finally got him the Uber app. He's like, I don't know what this thing is, but I got to take this. I go, I've been telling you about that for 10 years.
Yeah. So now he's good about taking Ubers and shit.
He's not, but he does.
Yeah, he does.
But from 17 to 27, he figured out 4 days a week.
Jesus.
Yeah, because that's what we would do. We'd just get a case of beer and just hang out and drink and listen to music and do whatever, So we always were doing that. So that's one thing I don't have to worry about. My son is like, he's going to have an Uber app. He's going to have an account, and he's never going to get in a car with somebody that's drunk, which is easier said than done. I said, look, there's always going to be a hot girl that's going to offer you a pill at a party, going to tell you to get in the car and call you a pussy if you don't. And if you do listen to her, you might get in her pants. You have to somehow resist that. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
Really
tough. A boy with testosterone.
The boner just leading him everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I had to be honest with him. I go, look, I was in a room with 2 strippers. They had cocaine, and they were both I was going to be with them at the same time if I did coke.
You're telling him this?
I told him I had to. because he's getting in that age. I go, listen, and I go, and I didn't do it. They would call me a pussy. Come on. We're going to, all three of us. I go, no, I won't. I'm not doing it. And it didn't go down because of that. I said, I don't care. I go, and to me, that's winning, that's winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. I said, you're going to be in those situations. You got to just say no. It's going to be tough. You're going to be at a party. Take this pill. It's going to make you feel, come on, we're all doing it.
And 4 of them are dead over there and shit these
I
days.
told them, I said, this is your excuse. I can't do it. I went in my dad's medicine chest one time and I took one of those pills and I had to go to a hospital and get my stomach pumped. I was in there for 3 days. I'll never go through that again. And I said, that's how you get out of it.
So
I go, so no one's going to go, no, it's not going to happen this time.
Jesus.
Oh, sorry.
You might have just saved somebody, actually.
Right. And that's what I do with drunks when they want to offer me a shot after a comedy show. I go, nah, man, come on, man, just do one. I go, listen, I got 3 DWIs, and if I get a 4th one, I go to jail for 10 years. Like, whoa. All right, so sorry. Yeah, no problem. Believe me, I would do it, but I can't risk going to jail. Meanwhile, I have no DUIs. Just a way to get out of it. No one's ever go, oh, come on.
Yeah,
just
who's
do one.
looking the record up?
Yeah. Or they're not going to go, oh, you just can't do one?
Yeah.
They understand when you put it to that. So I said, this is your excuse. And we go over it in the car like once every 2 weeks. So I'm a girl at a party, offer you a pill or a line. What do you say? I can't. I got a stomach pump. I tell all the parents, I go, tell them what you're going to say. That's great. I go, yeah, you have to have that.
Yeah.
We've been in those situations too many times. So that's but the car thing I got to worry about in a couple of years because I'm going to be up all night. If he's out with his friends, I'm going to home at 1 o'clock. I'm not going to bed.
Never.
There's no way.
That's what they say. A real parent, you really never sleep. You go to sleep, but you don't really sleep.
But meanwhile,
it's
very to manage from 6 to now is so easy to manage. But it's once they're in that car and they're out and the parties and all that stuff, that's when you're really gonna have to worry.
What was the hardest part about? I know you say missing him, but like just actually being a single dad for you, was it more like adjusting your comedy schedule and work schedule to that? I'm home these nights. I'm not out now, and what are you doing those nights? Yeah,
and those are there's a lot of things going on where I have to miss because I got him.
You've also had this regulated schedule for 20 some years on your own, where you're doing it this way, and now all of a sudden it's switching.
Yep, and you miss so many things. I'm like, I can't take him into New York for this thing because he has to get up for school in the morning. I can't have him out till 11 o'clock at night, so I got to miss this. So it's tough, but to me, it's more important.
See, that got easier for me too. I would be like, I'm missing this. I'm not there. I'm missing. And then I would be like, I'm right here with my kid though, where I'm supposed to be.
Right. No, that's true. But when it's something for your career, not that I need to, oh my God, I got to be there. But if it's something like, man, I should be there, but I can't. But I have no choice. Like, just recently, Bill Burr and Shane Gillis were playing in L.A., and I was going to come out a day earlier, but I couldn't because I had my kid and I couldn't. So I'm like, I'm going to miss that, which I would have liked to be at. But, you got to do it. That's way more important for me to, be there present for my kid, be around them and know that because we need to set an example for him for when he gets married. I always tell him, I said, when he's over at like a friend's house, I go, watch that couple. They're, in a great marriage and never putting each other down, no passive aggressive stuff. I go, that's what a marriage is. So just remember that. That's normal. He knows those parents. Like I said, so that's the relationship you want to be in.
That's good. That's really good advice. It's also good that you do have that because I'm trying to sit here and think like most of the people I know are probably not together.
Right.
You've got good couples in your neighborhood.
Oh yeah, everybody. And
that's
they're
what
all,
I'm saying.
And there's no
stable
tension.
Families.
There's never any tension in those marriages either where you could tell, man, this is just, like they don't like each other.
Yeah, this one's going to end sooner or later. Yeah.
So he knows that. So it's good. He's got that. But,
and are you both, you and your ex, good about not shitting on each other? Around
probably not. I'm a lot better at it now. Of course, the anger came out early and stuff, so I wasn't. But now I know, as he's older, he doesn't want to hear it. Yeah, so I don't do it anymore. I always just say, I go, listen, you got one mom and you got one dad. So just remember that.
Yeah, a therapist told me one time that, like if you're shitting on the other person, like your child's half that person. And they could literally be like, oh, well, you don't like half of me. I was like, I had never even thought about that. Like,
I didn't either.
Like I know you're that person, but I'm half of that, and you must. I was like, I don't like that. So I made sure even early on, like just when she wasn't with me or when she was asleep, I'd go back and shut that door. I'd be like, and go off about it then, but never in front.
Yeah, it was rough in the beginning. I was probably a little childish about it, but no, I've gotten way better over the years. I don't say anything anymore.
And what changed?
I just think he just accepted it. Maybe it was, I was angry, so.
Just time
just
processing
the time.
it instead of holding it. But that's what I'm saying. What changed instead of holding it and still, you know those people, still 14, 15 years later, like, fuck this guy or this bitch or whatever, and you're still holding on to that thing. What was it for you that you just were like, I got to let this go?
I think just over time, it just did. I don't hold grudges. I might for a little while, but I get along with everybody. I don't care what anybody else is doing as long as you don't fuck me over. There's nobody that I hate right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just never, like if something happens, whatever, you move on from it. You might be mad for a little while. So I just learned not to hold a grudge. It took a few years, and then, but then we worked it out. I'm like, look, I got to do this for the kids. So, and now my whole thing is I got to make sure that he's set up for the rest of his life. Like I got to make sure, like, especially like a college fund, I make sure that I put money in that all the time. I don't want him to start his life in debt. That's the thing. I don't want him to take a shitty job at 23 or 24 because he has to pay all these bills.
Mm-hmm.
And then he doesn't really want to pursue what he really wants. I want to make sure that he doesn't, have student loans for the next till he's 45 years old, paying that shit off.
Yeah.
When I could, so I don't live an extravagant lifestyle. I never did, but I used a Honda Accords. I don't live beyond my means. I don't really buy anything, and just make sure that money's for him to make sure that's covered. So he can figure out what he wants to do. That's what my parents did for me. I only went to community college, but, I had no debt coming out and I just figured it out. And even when I first started doing comedy, it was like perfect. I didn't have all this debt there.
Like $80,000 worth of debt you got to pay off for the next 50 fucking years.
Yeah. So I'm making sure that he's set up for that, whatever he wants to do. To me, that's really important, to do that for him.
Do you have living will and trust?
Yep.
Good man. You have life insurance?
Yep.
You did it all right then.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. That's
I
what
get
you
all
need
of
to
that.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get a living will and trust, get your life insurance, and then I hope you don't he doesn't cash that fucking policy.
Yeah. I think there's some clauses in the will at certain ages, where you can do all that stuff. But
God forbid you can't let a 18-year-old kid have life insurance money. They're gonna piss that away.
Oh yeah. No, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell them, I explain about the money. You don't. I go, you're gonna have any more friends if you buy the new Jordans or whatever, the Kanye sneakers. I go, I can have 5 Teslas in the driveway if I wanted to. Is anyone gonna like me anymore? You got to realize none of that shit means anything.
Nothing.
It really doesn't. So just know that you don't have to try to impress people with expensive stuff. And he's like a t-shirt, sweats, same thing with me. So he's not high maintenance at all. Get him a Miami Dolphin jersey, whoever the new good player is, and that he's happy with that.
He's good to go.
Yeah. And I like him raised like that, where he doesn't. I go, no one's going to care that you got the new Nikes. You know what I mean? No, everyone's not.
Or that you don't.
Right.
The other way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or that you don't. Nobody's going. I don't remember anybody's shoes from fucking.
I don't either.
But see, we would get fucked up. We had Kmart back in the day, and they had McGregor. That was like their line. And if you had McGregor's on, man, you were probably gonna get stomped.
Yeah.
But now stores like Target carry Tony Hawk and all these popular lines where you can go there and get clothes, and kids don't get clowned or beat up and shit over dumb stuff.
Right.
I mean, they figured it out. Like, who cares if you have the new Jordans? Who cares if you have that?
Well, sometimes, when you're insecure like that and you feel like you have to have it, because some of his kids do it. But yeah, he's getting raised like low maintenance, and that's where you need to be. You pick your spots when you want to spend your money. That's all.
Yeah, my daughter's into makeup, and that shit's wildly expensive.
Right.
And then she'll get an allowance, and I'm like, you go in, you take your allowance, spend whatever you want. I don't care, but you're not getting any more, and I'm not covering tax. I teach her about tax.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, that's $10 more. I'm like, yeah, well, that's 10% on that right now, basically out here. She's like, what? I'm like, mm-hmm. She's like, that's not fair. I'm like, yeah, get in line with all these other people. Welcome to the show, lady. You think you got $75? You don't.
And now I got him. He's 14, so now I'm starting. He's cutting the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
I started working full time when I was 14. I had a job when I was 14. So, and then like for ninth grade going in there, there's a elective course he could take is video editing. I said, take that,
man.
Yeah,
they have
ninth grade.
Oh, bro.
And I go, take that because I go, what? I go, do you want to work as a busboy in a restaurant? Or you want to do video editing? You could do my stuff, or I have other comics you could do if you're good at it. And so you don't have to go to be a busboy.
But it's a digital age now. Just to have that skill and be able to, like I say all the time, I wish I could go back in time. Well, no, I don't. It worked out for me. But either way, if I did, I wouldn't go back to college with the focus on this 4-year plan and this piece of paper. And the curriculum that they set for said whatever you want to go. I would go back and diversify myself, and I would take a video editing. I would take a finance class. I would take a business class. I would just try to learn a little more about, business, money, editing, and just be a little more well-rounded instead of this, funneled into this one program with this thing and very focused on these and not whatever the fuck else is going on out there.
Well, I found a community college that I went to one. My dad wanted me to go to finance, and he was into that. And I was like, after one semester, I go, I can't. This is not for me. So I found a community college with communications. They had radio and TV, acting.
Yep.
Film, all this stuff, and I was like, "This is part," and I excelled in that. I loved it. I was on the radio station at the school there. Then I got an internship at another radio station. After 2 years, I was already like a morning DJ at like 19 years old.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I didn't even do 4 years. A little small station, but I was already on a station at that point. Yeah, but I loved that once I found out what I really liked in those courses.
That's what I'm saying. I did. I had an AM radio show at my college in Towson. I had all those classes and courses too. And I'm saying and then everything evolved so fast. Like I know we were cutting with a razor blade, splicing tape to tape. And then 2 years later, it's like CDs and digital. It's like, we don't even need to do that. What the fuck? I showed up on a Saturday to do that project in college. You know what I mean? And now it's just boom, boom, boom. So I was just telling a friend, we learned MS-DOS and Lotus on floppy disks and shit. And now it's every kid knows Photoshop. Yeah. I wish I grew up. We were typing, literally typing 101, ASDF, JKL, semicolon. I still know the home row, but I wish we had, because we're a generation that didn't have it and then it did exist. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're that hybrid, I still forget sometimes I could just easily take a picture of something and have it in my phone and I don't need to take a business card or whatever, shit like that. Yeah. These kids today. So I agree. Video editing, any of that stuff, just even to know that's a great skill. That pays well. I know. It pays well.
And I go, you could do it from home. You could do it from your mom's house,
these days, you could probably do it from your fucking phone. Right. You really can't. And the more that evolves, he's going to be able to do it wherever he wants.
Yeah. And I go, and there's always a market for that.
Always.
And me being a comic and then my friends, my son will do it. $25 a clip or whatever. I go,
no
so you
doubt.
don't have to do that. I was a busboy. I had the worst jobs ever, and all that stuff, unloading tractor trailers.
Where were you a busboy?
A couple different restaurants. This Country Grill it was. I was right. And then when I lived down in Florida, I was a busboy there. Making $3.35 an hour was the minimum wage at that point.
$3.35
an hour. And then I was all in the music, like heavy metal. So an import album was $12, so it was 4 hours of pay to buy Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. It was worth it. 4 hours of doing dishes just to buy an import record. But it just taught me a work ethic. And, the only time I ever stopped working was during the pandemic since I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And
Same. I've had a job since 7th grade, and during the pandemic, I really did almost lose my mind. I realized that like I'm not a big social person, but I'm a solo social. Like I like to go out and be around it.
Yeah.
Or have dinner by myself or a lunch by myself and sit and watch and observe and, see how people are and things like that. And then you can't even do that in a time like that. Like forget stand-up. Stand-up's great, but that's gone. But just anything. And I was like, man, I wouldn't say I'm like a social person, but I do like to go out and even if it's just take a ride by myself, go somewhere, grab something. You know what I mean? I'm not better than going to a Home Depot and just strolling to look at shit.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's when I really realized, I go, wow, if I didn't have a kid during the pandemic, I'd be out of my mind in my house by myself, isolated, not seeing anybody. So it was just this time we spent together was amazing.
Yeah.
In those, especially the first like 4 or 5 months, we're on the driveway playing basketball, which people would drive by and be yelling at us.
Why? Because
why are you outside?
Yeah.
It's my driveway. I'd be screaming at him because I live on a busy road. I go, what are you talking about? Go inside. They're screaming.
We were outside across the old studio, and there would be people across the street on the other sidewalk, outside with masks on, yelling at us that we're outside without a mask. I'm like, you're 40 fucking feet away, bro, and we're outside. Yeah.
Yeah, we play horse, but we call it bitch instead of. And so, and then we could be cranking music. We put music on and stuff. So, but just the time we spent, I was like, man, if I didn't have my son, I'd be, I had friends that have no kids. They were like, man, I'm doing really bad.
Is that right?
During that time, yeah. But I just, that time that we spent together, that bonding was just amazing. We did all these little projects. We decorated a whole room with all my stuff, posters and all that stuff he helped me with. So it was great. So it's just, no, thank God. Believe me, if I didn't have a kid, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I'd probably be living somewhere else. I stayed on the East Coast. I made sure I'm in a good neighborhood with good schools. I knew I have to stay here till at least he's 18. It's important. I can't be moving around, in different schools. I keep to certain friends. My parents moved after sophomore year. I had all these friends. We moved down to Florida. We didn't know anybody. So junior and senior year, I was in a private Catholic school. I didn't know anybody. I had one friend for 2 years. It was really tough, especially in high school. The day I graduated from high school from Florida, I moved back. I hated it that much. But I made sure I need my son to have a stable, same friends, same school. I said, most of these kids, you're gonna have friends for life.
I agree with
these
that.
kids. I still have 5 guys that were over last Sunday are guys that I know since first grade.
Yeah.
I go, out of these 10, probably 6 are going to be your friends for life.
I agree.
I go, and that's really important.
It is.
It's really important.
That's good that you're giving him that.
Yeah.
Are your parents still alive?
No.
Neither of them?
No.
Oh, so does he have grandparents on his mom's side?
He does. They're both alive. Yeah.
And are they in the area around?
Yeah.
So he's got that.
So he's close with
good.
them. They were just at his basketball game the other day. My mom was there till he was about 8. I think she passed away when he was 8. So he got to see, and they had a really good close bond and stuff.
How did he deal with that?
It was tough for him, but kids deal with it, they're on to something else right after. But he was really bummed. He was really devastated over it. He was, and he definitely misses her and stuff. But it's still, and then our dog at the same time, like a month before, passed away at the same time too. So it was a lot for him at that.
That is a lot.
I know. And now he's really close to his grandfather and his grandmother, and they're getting up there in age. So it's, I know that's coming. My stuff didn't happen until I was like in my early 20s. All my aunts and uncles went in like 2 or 3 years. It was crazy.
Yeah, same for
One
me.
after another, after another.
Rip through them.
And then my dad passed away when he was 58. So I was like 28 at the time.
Okay.
And that's another thing. Like, I want to be around for my son. Like, when I had my kid, I go, I got to be healthy. I got to make sure I want to be there for him. I told him, I said, listen, I'm probably going to be 80. I think I'll last till 80. So you got me for 34 years. Is that enough?
Is that enough?
I don't know if I can go 85, 87.
Dude, I think about it all the time. Like, if I check out at 75.
Right. How old?
That's like 25 more years. My daughter will be about 39. Like, you good with that? You're almost 40. You could handle that.
Right.
You can
I
handle
think
that.
about that constantly.
Yeah, you can handle that.
I'm like 34. Is that good?
And then are you going to have kids? Am I going to be a grandfather? And am I going to get to know them at all or see them or hold them at all? I think about
that's
that
not going to happen
shit.
with me, I'm sure.
I don't know. If he could have kids at 30.
Yeah, maybe.
He could. He might not wait as long as you.
It's funny, man, because I was just, after I got divorced, I got a vasectomy.
Oh, you did go do it?
Yeah, I was 50. And I just said, I can't, I'm done. And, I met somebody recently, we were together for a couple of years. We just recently broke up and she wanted to have a baby. And I had the vasectomy. She, I can get it reversed. We could start a family. And I was like, I want to be around for this kid. And my brother pretty much broke it down. He goes, listen, he's got logic. He goes, listen, by the time you have that baby, you're going to be 61. You're going to be paying child support when you're 79. He goes, it's not going to work out. Meaning on me, not her.
Yeah.
He goes, you want to be paying child support when you're 79. I didn't even think about
That's a great point.
That's what he said.
I never thought of that either. You're damn near 80 and still kicking out child
Imagine that, because he'd be 18.
Yeah.
He'd be 18 at that time. And if he doesn't go to college, I still got to pay till 22. Yeah, so he's like, I go, you're right, I can't. My Social Security's not going. But I do really want to be around. I go, I don't want to be 72 years old. My daughter's 6.
Yeah, and you can't do anything.
And I'm driving him around and I got no energy and all that stuff. It's not fair to the kid.
I agree.
It really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that, and we broke up, and it sucks. And I said, you got to go find what you want. But that would have won. I would have got remarried. But I just couldn't do it. I said, if I would have met you in my early 40s, absolutely.
Oh,
I would do it. But I had to let her go.
yeah.
We broke up. Mutual, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I want to be around.
Well, here's the other thing too. Like, you're older, and you say maybe it could take 2 years to have a kid.
Right. Well,
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's funny, like, if you don't want one, you're pregnant. And if you do, it's not the easiest thing. You would think it sounds so dumb because there's a gazillion people.
Right.
But it really isn't the easiest thing to do, especially at our age now. If you're trying to have one older, it could take you a year before it happens.
And she's never had a baby before. She's never been pregnant. So
She
we
might
don't even
not.
know.
She might have complications. You might need to take medications. All this shit
Yeah.
could take 2 years to figure that out. Then you are paying child support in your 80s.
I know. And it was funny because I go, all right, let's just say.
That's hilarious. That is a great thought.
Imagine like what Joe Biden's 82. Imagine he's like, yeah, I got my child support.
I got one more year, guys, of life or child support. Can you imagine dying and you didn't pay all your child support? You still owe it. You're like, I didn't even make it to 18. Goddamn.
But I remember my ex said, all right, I go, all right, what if I do get the vasectomy reversed and I go through all of that because it's a really tough operation.
That's the other thing. It could take a while from that. I forget about the reverse.
Right. So I go, what if I do and I can't get you pregnant and you don't get pregnant? She goes, I'll take that in consideration. I go, oh, really?
In consideration?
I go, consideration. So I go through all of that. I can't get you pregnant. You go, oh, sorry, I got to go. I go have a baby with that guy. I go, that's not fair. So it just didn't. But like I said, like I look at Alec Baldwin, the guy's got 7 kids under the age of 10 years old. He's 68 years old.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's got 7.
7
with
under 10?
with the wife, and he's got one with Kim Basinger. He's got 7 kids under 10 years old.
Jeez.
And he's 68 years old. It's like, what are you doing, dude? I know you married a younger, hotter chick, but you got to give her a baby. You don't have to give her 7. And what are those kids going to do? They're not going to have a dad.
No.
I mean, the rage that guy has in him, he's having a heart attack in 3-4 years.
I'm surprised he's this old.
I know. Yeah.
And like guys like Mick Jagger that are doing it in their 70s or whatever, like you might not even get 5 years with that kid. That kid might not even get to really even know who the fuck you are.
I know. And it's just, I remember one of the moms I was talking to, yeah, but you're given life if you have the other baby. I go, yeah, but
what kind of quality
I know
of life
exactly.
are you giving that kid? A
What
miserable life? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'm like, so I had to make that. I made the right decision getting that vasectomy.
I already feel like I'm
50.
the old enough I already feel like I'm the old dad sometimes.
Right.
A lot of guys having kids in their 20s, 30s, whatever. I'm 41 when I have my kids. So I already feel like when she's 18, I'll be 50. I'll be damn near 60 at the graduation.
Yeah.
That's old.
No, I know. And but I just knew that I wanted to be around for him. And, I wouldn't have been a good dad. If I had a kid at 25, 30, 35, I would have been an awful dad.
Yeah.
I would have been all in my career. I'm sorry. I got this over here, but I got to go. And I had it at the right time where I was pretty financially set, my career and all that stuff. So I can take some time off and just, make sure. And I got to the point where I needed to be in comedy. Things happen and stuff. So I was happy with my career at that point.
Do you think if you don't go to Walter Reed, you have a kid?
Probably not. And then today, like I said, I didn't even know what I'd be doing if I didn't, but probably not. That really affected me when I saw those guys, and I talked to all of them, and they had the same story.
That's powerful to hear that every single one of them is like family.
They had the picture right there, the two kids with the wife. I'm going to be out of here soon. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm missing a leg or whatever. I got my family. That's all it's about.
Yeah.
He goes, that's all. That's what I live for. This stuff is no problem. We'll figure it out.
Was your dad the same type of man? Like, is that where you get this from? You said he wasn't. They weren't divorced, but was he?
No,
just
they
like
were married 33 years.
Yeah.
He passed away at 58 with the seven of us.
There's 7 of you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And my dad, was, involved as much as he could. He worked. My mom stayed home. But then he would coach our sports team. So I coach my kids' basketball team, because my dad did it. I wanted to do that. So it's great, coaching your own team. But so I think I got it from him. But he was all about being a family man.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about family with him. Big Christmases, everything, the gifts and all that. So, but, I was 28. So I had him for 28 years of my life. So I want my kid. If I can make the 34, like I said, then, that's about what I can do. His mom's a lot younger.
Okay.
Obviously. So she'll be around longer than me.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. When he's out of the house, then what?
I don't know. I'm worried about that. Like for me, like what am I going to do?
Like if he goes to college, let's say in Arizona or something, you go out and do gigs and see him, and what do you do?
I'll be the house MC at the Tempe Improv.
The house MC, yeah.
I just need $25.
That's a great club, by the way.
I know. It's awesome.
It is. The house MC. I think about that too. Like, if you're going to go to college, maybe I'll just move there for a while. And then I'm like, who wants their dad fucking following them around everywhere they go?
I know.
That's the other thing. You don't think about that, but that's our sentimental bullshit, not theirs. They're like, get the fuck away. Can I have my own life?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. But, maybe he goes to a college near me, and maybe he still stays at home. You never know. There's Rutgers. I live near Rutgers University, so maybe he goes there.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Does he want to go to school? Do you know yet?
Yeah, he will. He's not sure where.
What's he want to do?
He's not sure. He's taking a sports marketing elective course in high school, too.
In high school? That's in high school?
Freshmen, they have an elective for sports marketing.
So you got video editing and sports marketing?
He's like, maybe I want to be a sports agent. I go, you got to be a dick.
Yeah, you got to be a real
I go, he doesn't he's not a dick.
Yeah, you got to be a dick.
He's a nice kid. I go, you got to be a fucking animal. And I don't know, but that's good. He's got he'll figure it out. He was doing stand-up for a while.
Really?
He was doing music. He was doing great at both, but right before the pandemic, he just stopped. He goes, I don't want to do it anymore. He was killing on stage.
Was he really?
Killing. Fearless.
At how old?
He started at like 6.
No.
I was opening for Dice at the Stress Factory, and he went on at 6 years old.
No.
And Dice goes, first of all, you did better than your dad. And I'm not just saying that.
I'm not just saying that.
400 people killed.
Wow.
He had his little leather jacket on.
Did he?
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
And he had a great joke. It was his closing joke. I said, he goes, my dad hasn't a girlfriend in like 3 years. I keep telling him, Dad, get a girlfriend. He's like, yeah, I will. At some point, he goes, I think my dad's gay. And the place would go berserk. And he got in trouble one time. I took him an open mic, and he was making fun of me on stage. And some old guy complained to the owner. He goes, how come, first of all, that dad taking his kid and hearing these other comedians curse, and he's just trashing his dad on stage? What kind of dad is that? I didn't come here for this. I just came for wholesome comedy. And the club owner called me the next day, and I told my son, Luke, I go, Luke, that you're officially a comic.
You got to complain.
You got to complain. That means you're pushing buttons. He goes, who? I go, remember that old guy? He goes, that old fuck? I go, yeah, that guy. I remember him. I go, yeah. He complained. I go, you're a comic. You're pushing buttons. He goes, that old fuck? I go, yeah, remember that guy?
Dude, this was great, man.
But I don't want to push that lifestyle on him to stand up.
I tell my daughter to stay out of comedy. I tell her.
Because, his friends are going to be all having fun, parties. He's going to be at a Holiday Inn in Kansas City from Thursday through Sunday with nothing to do. He walks to the Subway to get a sandwich and waits for the show at night. It's a lonely existence.
It is a very lonely existence.
It is, and he's going to miss out. I missed out on a lot of stuff, and just that I don't want him to have that lifestyle.
Yeah, I just tell my daughter too, with entertainment, it's not like if you want to be a doctor, it's a very set course and then you become a doctor. And the entertainment is so fickle too. And there's people that could look at you and go, you remind me of a boy I dated in high school I don't like, so never mind. That kind of dumb shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just nonsense.
And then, also, look, and I understand the whole infidelity part just a separation. As a comic, every weekend, you're away, she's in an empty house, I'm in an empty hotel room. I get it, man. That's why it's really tough on people. So I understand why it went down, So I don't want that for my son. I don't, marry a good girl, raise a family, work a local job, have your friends, do all of that stuff, So we'll see.
Dude, thank you for doing this.
Absolutely, man.
Always a pleasure to have you here.
It's great, yeah.
Promote whatever you want to. One more time,
My
please.
new comedy special, You Can't Please Them All, out on Amazon Prime. My podcast, Everybody Is Awful, every Monday.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
As always, Ryan Sickler on all social media. We'll talk to y'all next